Hey there. Today I am going to be filming part one of a series that I'm going to be starting. I don't even know if I could really call it a series. It's kind of like a mini series. I don't know how long it's going to last. I know it's going to be at least four videos. The first three videos are going to be the explanation / setup, but essentially I want to film this series of videos where I talk about the art supplies that I own, my poor neglected art supplies, all of the painting surfaces that I own, and my painting / art plans for the year of 2025. And then I want to film at least one video where I take you through a week of me painting and using said art supplies. The reason I'm doing this is because I have a lot of art supplies that are just sitting there being neglected, and it makes me really sad. I actually filmed the second video before I filmed this one, and that one's going to be going up after this though, but I explained in that video why I feel like I have avoided creating art all these years, even though I've wanted to. And I feel like it's because I get intimidated and then I convince myself that I'm not going to do a good job. So anything that I use to make what I make is going to be wasted. But the crux to that reasoning is that the only way that I'm going to get better and be more confident in what I'm painting is to actually paint. And that any products and materials I'm using in that process to improve my skills is not a waste, as long as I am consistently working towards improving my skills. So I'm filming this series of videos because for some reason, if I want to get a project done, filming videos on it helps me get it done. It does something to trick my brain into not feeling like the time I'm spending on it is being wasted. I feel like this is just a theme in my life. I hesitate to do things because I feel like something is being wasted, whether it's time, energy, money, supplies, and it's pretty much never actually true. Pretty much never actually true that the resources being used on what I want to do is a waste, because if it's something I want to do and it makes me happy to do it, then no resources used are wasted. And logically, I know that. But for some reason, over all these years, it's just been really difficult for me to push through and get myself to move past that, even though logically I know that nothing's being wasted. I'm sure it has a lot to do with things that happened in my childhood, like a lot of things do, but I am working really hard to no longer be held back by those thoughts. So here I am filming this series, trying to get myself to not feel guilty about following through on my creative goals. And I'm going to film a whole other video on what my goals are specifically for 2025. But first, I want to share what I'm working with and everything that I have to work with. Well, mostly everything. I may forget a couple things here and there, but you guys are going to see the majority of what I have to work with. And that's really not at all to be like, oh my God, look at what I have, because no. These videos aren't even really so much for the people that may be watching them, because I'm making these videos under the assumption that maybe like 5 people will watch them. Like, I don't think really anybody is going to watch these videos, but if they do, that's great. But I'm making them because, first of all, like I said, making the video and somehow tricks my brain, incentivizes me into actually following through, but also going through this physical process of like picking up and moving all of my supplies, it helps me remember everything that I have, it forces me to take a second look at every single item so that nothing goes to waste because I remember what I have. Hopefully that makes sense. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing all of my art supplies. Now, it's going to be a little tricky. I'm not exactly sure at this very moment if I'm going to be sharing all of my like fine art supplies and all of my coloring supplies because there is some overlap there. So I may just share the ones that I feel overlap, but not the ones that I don't think I would use in like my sketchbooks and stuff. But I don't know. I'll figure that out as I go. But for now, everything that I have on my desk to share with you first is all stuff that I store on top of my art table that I set up a couple months ago. So these are the supplies that I have sitting there. And then everything else I have is in like a Alex drawer system and on like one of those 3-tiered rolly carts. So I figured I'd show you the stuff from the table first because it'll be easy for me to share and then put them back and we can move. Or I can move stuff here, whichever. So the first thing I have to show you is my giant Himi gouache set, and don't mind, it is like dusty and dirty on top. But there is my gouache set, and to be perfectly honest, the only time I've used this is to swatch it. I haven't actually painted with it yet. Actually, have I? I don't know if it, let me see. So I have, okay, let's do that. I have swatches of all of my paint, like all the paints I have in here. So let me look for these swatches. Okay, yeah, I did. I did this little painting sketch, and those are the swatches of all the colors. I'm not a fan of how the painting turned out, like, but that's a me problem, not the paint problem. I need to grab my little water spritzer. Because some of these are drying out. So I want to reconstitute them. Just so that when I put the lid back on, like, I don't have to worry about it. But I have this gouache set, and it's huge. It's giant. Luckily, the good thing about gouache is it's water soluble and it's re-wettable. It'll be easier if I don't let it dry out all the way though. But if I need to, I can reconstitute it. So that is my big giant gouache set. It's like really, really heavy too. Okay, I'm not going in any particular order, just sharing stuff. So I think this might be one of the only things that I don't have swatches for in my sketchbook, and I may do that at some other point in time, but I'm not going to do it right now. So I have all these like paint markers, and I have a set of these Craft Smart paint markers, and then some of these Ain Art like glitter outline markers. I don't think these are even actually like paint markers, are they? I don't know. But I have them all in this same situation. And then these all, I think I only have those two in here. But here, I don't have any swatches of them in here, so let me kind of do this real quick. It's just one of those things where if you, so the glitter outline ones, like if you right or color or something, it'll bleed out the color but not the glitter, so then you end up with a little outline of the color. And then these, I think I have some that are started, but I don't know. But they are just typical, let me do it over here, like pump action paint markers. And then, what do I have this? What is that? Oh, I have a toner ink marker. That's probably for foil. Yeah, so. That doesn't look super great. It's probably the paper, or maybe there's not enough pigment coming down, but I may swatch those at another time. But honestly, I have not used these much, and I really should. But I do have those. Then I have these Arteza real brush pens, and I'm not really a fan of these. They're like water brush markers, or they're like watercolor markers. I have them swatched right here, and like, granted, this is not high quality paper by any means, but they're supposed to be watercolor markers, and they don't really work super well for that. I made a review on these years and years and years ago, and I had a lot of, like, I didn't have the best experience. I had a lot of people telling me that I was either using too much water or not using enough water. But the problem is that when I reviewed these, I did tests with like every amount of water. I did tests like painting with these, drawing with these without any water. I tested like putting them on like a slick surface and making a watercolor paint with water like that, and then painting. And I had this problem every single time on multiple different types of paper where it was just streaky, or it would leave these like harsh edges. They're just not good quality in my opinion. Not that they can't be used, and not that I won't use them, but they're so low quality that it kind of makes me not want to. And also a lot of them are drying out. So I don't want to waste them. Like I said, a big issue with wasting things, but I don't want them to go to waste. And in this sketchbook, I don't necessarily care about the quality of the materials that I'm using. It's really more so about the process. And even like low quality materials are really helpful in that for me, because it makes me less likely to feel like I'm wasting materials. Because when I feel like I'm wasting stuff, it mostly comes from a place of fearing that I won't have the money to replace them, even though these are like not expensive. But the cheaper the product, the less of that fear I have. So these will be good for working in my sketchbook to get through that, to try and work through that. So I have those. And then I have these, what brand even is this? Generals pastel chalk pencils. I'm gonna push it the other way actually, so you guys can see the colors. And this is like the warm color pack. I have no idea how old these are. 2003. I think my grandma gave these to me or something. They're pastel chalk pencils, so they don't like dry down completely. If you want them to not smudge, you'd have to seal them with something, because like I did this months ago and it's still like, I can still smudge it. They do like do interesting things with water. Honestly, I did find that these pastels don't work the greatest when you're trying to like smear them with water. These other ones, these SMI Artist Pastels, worked a lot better with wetting them. So if I wanted to use pastels and then wet them, I would probably use these ones. And then it doesn't completely like seal them, because you can see like green on my fingers, but it does make it so that it doesn't like transfer a ton, because you can see a little bit of transfer on here, but honestly most of that is like the green from the other side. But the transfer that you can see, it's pretty minimal on this bottom half. You can see more transfer up here where the pencils are, because the water doesn't really distribute the pigment very well on these. But this one, it did a pretty good job. I would probably still seal it if I was worried about the other side of the page, but I'm not, so I didn't. But these I have had since high school. I got these from my art teacher. Yeah, from my first art teacher in high school. So these are really old. Let's see. Where do I have this other guy's swatched? Nope, not there. Trying to find the swatches of the next. There we go. So next I have these Prismacolor art sticks, and these are literally just like colored pencils without the wood. It's pretty much exactly what it is. So I think I got these from my high school art teacher as well. So that's them swatched right there. Very basic colors. Nothing super special about them. Nothing super special about the product. It's just they're color pencils without the wood, essentially. See, I want to show you guys the swatches of stuff as I go, because I feel like it's helpful to see what they look like in the sketchbook that I'll be using. But I don't really have them in any particular order, so it's kind of hard to find them sometimes. Really? Where are you? Oh, here we go. Okay, so let's put these up there. The King Art Mixed Media Gel Sticks. They're essentially like a solid form of acrylic in a stick, basically. They are water soluble, and while they're still fresh, they're very manipulatable, easy to manipulate with water, with smudging, but they do dry down, which is great. So like this is not, like none of this is transferring. It's all completely dry. So I do really like these. It's what I used for these sketches. And they're really fun to work with. They feel, they're relatively inexpensive, and they feel like coloring with the juiciest, most saturated, like smoothest crayon that you've ever colored with. except that you can wet it and paint with it, but then it dries down. I don't know. They're just very satisfying to use. And there's a lot of brands on Amazon that sell things like this in like larger varieties of colorways. So I kind of want to try them in other colors because I really like these. They're very fun. But that's what they look like swatched. Let's see. Okay, next I have these watercolor color pencils, and they are not the greatest quality, but you know, they're still fun. A decent color variety. And when you're, I feel like swatching them and then wetting them it doesn't give you really the whole picture of what it's going to look like when you actually use them. It does give you an idea. But I feel like when I've used them, because I've used them in a coloring book before, when I've used them in a coloring book, I feel like they wet a little bit better. Honestly, part of this is the paper quality. It's just not good. But part of it is the quality of the pencils, but they're fine. I think these are called Carrot, I don't know. I've had these for a very long time, but they worked okay in my coloring book that I used them in. Like, not super amazing, but they looked nice. They didn't look quite this harsh, like where you colored. So I think that a lot of that has to do with the paper quality, but that's what I got to work with. So I have those. I have this, which is a Jurassic World sticker and color activity tin. And I turned it into a paint palette. And these are dried gouache. I don't know what brand these are. I don't remember. I can probably go back and figure it out, honestly. No, not that one. Is it Arteza? It might be Arteza. Yeah, I think it is. I think these are Arteza gouache based on the colors that I'm seeing here. But I do really like the quality of the Arteza gouache. There are some of the colors that in the tube were not fully incorporated super well, and you can tell by like the ones that are blotchy. But I did mix them a little bit better in here, so hopefully that solved it. None of these are falling out, which is amazing. I did do several layers on like all of these, so that's probably why. That's probably helping the paints not fall out, because I have done, like, I have tried to do dried gouache palettes in the past, and the gouache just like absolutely crumbled. I've had this in here for almost 6 months, probably 6 months at this point. No, almost 6 months, because I did this at the end of June, and it's like a week and a half into December, so almost 6 months. And the ones that I've tried before crumbled far before that. So I am happy with how that's working out, and I'm pretty sure these are the swatches for those colors. Then I have this, My Life unit. It came with a bottom part, which is like a well to put water, and it has little holes in it to hold your paintbrushes and stuff. It's really cool. And it came with this like detachable palette, and in here is not something I'm going to show you because that's disgusting. This was gouache. It was gouache, and it was, I liked it. I liked it a lot. And now it's trash because it's moldy, and that's very sad. And I wish I had checked before filming this video because that's nasty. What's happening here? Yeah, so I'm gonna have to throw all that away and wash that. And apparently I've now learned my lesson. I cannot make a wet gouache palette out of just anything. Okay, very sad, very disappointed. That's a lot of gouache that's wasted. Okay, I did use that palette to paint. I painted this with that. I think everything except for this in here that I painted with gouache was painted with this palette that is now garbage. I painted this with that and this, and I'm actually very sad. Like that, there's no salvaging that. I'm gonna have to like really sanitize this and throw it all away. I'm really sad. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about that now. That's totally on me. I knew that there was a risk that it would mold. I was just hoping it wouldn't. Maybe I should have just let it dry out. I don't know. If anybody has any pointers or tips on any particular brands that stay wet in a palette but don't mold, or anything I can do to the gouache to keep it wet in a palette without it molding, those tips would be appreciated. Moving on. Moving on to my custom mixed acrylic palette. So these are all of the colors in my custom palette. I feel like the colors could be more versatile, but this is them. The only one I didn't swatch was the white, because why would I do that? There's no point. It is just a white. So the paints that I used for this were these My Artscape acrylic paints, and they came with two like drawer things, two levels of what were they, 21 milliliter tubes. And I'll show you what I did. So I did end up using all of the colors in here, and I don't remember the exact mixtures, but I ended up mixing a lot of them to create these custom colors, because A, they're only 21 milliliter tubes, so they're relatively small for acrylic paint, and I wasn't going to have enough space for all of them if I did individual little doodads, so we mixed, and I will show that to you right now. This is my custom palette, and it is in this like giant Tupperware type thing, and I have all of my paints in these like sauce cup things. So yeah, they're all still wet, they're all still perfectly good. And I haven't actually used these to paint yet, but these have been sitting here for probably the same amount of time as those gouache were, so about 6 months. And like keeping the lids on has maintained them. Like, these are not molding, which is great. They're still wet, like it's perfectly airtight in there. Nothing is drying out. And then some of these other colors I have in smaller ones. This brown, this has a lot of pink in it, but it's still in there. So that is my palette. I actually really can't wait to use this. I'm very excited about having this. I just need to actually get around to using it. This is probably the paint that I'm most excited to get myself to like get around to using. Now, the thing is, I'm not a fan really of the glossiness of acrylic a lot of the time. I prefer more of like a matte, like gouache finish. So I do have like some type of medium or something to mix in with these. And I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do it, like just put it in the actual little containers or just do it as I'm painting. I haven't decided which one I'm going to do yet, but these ones honestly are not like too offensive with their shine. I mean, they're pretty shiny, honestly, especially as they get thicker. But I don't know. I think I'm going to try it both ways and see if I like still hate the shine that much in like a sketch or a finished piece. And then I'll also do something with the matte medium or whatever it is I have, I don't remember the name of, and see if I like that. But those are all of the paints that I had on my art table. Now I'm going to put this stuff away and bring out the stuff that I have in my Alex drawers so we can look at all of that and see what we are working with. Okay, I'm gonna bring stuff out one drawer at a time, which is gonna be the easiest for me. So on the bottom drawer of the Alex drawer unit that I have, it's one of the ones that's like double wide and the drawers are narrower. On the bottom I have acrylic paint. So I have this Artist Loft set of metallic acrylic paint, and I have not used these ones yet. I actually don't even know what the pearl looks like. Like, oh, it literally just looks white in the tube. I wonder if it's shinier when it dries. I don't know. I haven't used these metallic ones yet because I have other metallic ones that I've been using instead, and I'll break these out whenever I'm out of those. But this comes with 6 21 milliliter tubes. These really 21 milliliters? These look like less paint than the other acrylic ones. I don't know, but there's those. I also have, let's see, I just have this random, oh, focus. I have this random Artist Loft paint. I have this because there's another brand. I don't remember the name of the brand. I'm gonna have to look it up and to remember. But there's another brand that has an acrylic paint called Parchment. I'm pretty sure that it's got the same name. It's a slightly different color than this. This is a little bit, I feel like a little bit more yellow and a little bit darker than the other one. And the other one is really the color I wanted, but this is the closest I could find without ordering something online, and I didn't really want to do that. So, this. And I have used it. I used it to prep a couple of pieces of paper that I wanted to paint on. Haven't painted on them yet, but I did prep them. I forgot to show those in the surfaces video though. Of course, just like I forgot to show a couple like little mini sketchbooks that I have, but you guys got the majority, so it's fine. So I have that. I have these two my Artscape acrylic paints, a giant white and a giant black. And then I have this, which is technically like a house paint. It's like an exterior paint. Oh my gosh, is it like dried closed? That'd really suck. Oh no, I got it. Oh jeez. And it's like a copper. Why does it keep going out of focus? It's like a copper color. And I got it on clearance, I think. It says $7.99 on it, but I know I didn't pay $8 for this. I'm sure I got it on like a good sale or clearance or something. And I probably figured, oh, I know it's outdoor paint, but I'll see if it works. It does need to be mixed though. But yeah, I have that. This is Deco Art, American Decor. Yeah, American Decor, Outdoor Living, yada yada. What is the color? No idea, because oh, copper, duh, it's on the lid. Copper. Okay, and then I have these. And the cardboard box that they're sitting in is from this Craft Smart, like craft acrylic paint set. And these are what I use in my art journal currently. Honestly, I'm just using them because I have them. They're obviously like just craft acrylic paint. They're not good quality, but they work for the purposes of art journaling. And I do like that they are like more on the matte side. They say satin, which I guess is appropriate. They're not entirely matte, but they're not nearly as glossy as some of the other acrylics that I have. But mixed in here, because I just use them constantly for art journaling, mixed in here I have a set of Arteza like metallic colors, and I love these. These are really, I love these in my art journal. They're great. So I have a whole set of those, and then I also have a couple of these folk art dragonfly glazes, and I absolutely love these. These are like clear, like a topper with like duochrome sparkliness in them. And then I have these metallic acrylics, which are the ones that I've been using recently. Those and these ones. But these ones came in that other set that I used to make my custom palette. But I wasn't going to put metallics in there, so I just threw them in here. Whoop, let's not drop those. And then these ones, which are Master's Touch. I don't even know where I got these, but it came in a set. There's some other ones right here. So these are the metallics I've been using in my art journal. And this is not all the colors I have. I have a few more set over here, ready to do my next art journaling page, but you guys get the idea with that. Oh, I also have a couple like ancient folk art paints. This one, I think these aren't the same, right? No, they're slightly different, I think. This one was even older. Like the label on this, you can see kind of where it was a little bit. It was only like that big, I think. These were passed down to me from my grandpa probably at least a decade ago. And he used these prior to that. So I have no idea how old those are. And then finally from that drawer, I have another set of acrylic paints. These are Castle Art paints, acrylics, and This also comes with 2 tiers of paints, and as I run out of paints in my custom palette, which to be perfectly honest probably will not happen for quite a while, I'll be replenishing the colors with these, and I really don't care if the colors end up exactly the same or not. Pretty much what I did to create that was I took colors that were the same color but maybe a different shade, but in the same, like, with the same type of undertone, and then I mix them, and I'm fine with that. I don't need this like super variety. So I'm going to replenish those with this whenever the time comes. Okay, next drawer up, I've got a bunch of watercolor palettes. First I have this old Prang 7-pan set, and this is what they look like swatched on this paper. I actually really like how they look. I think they look really smooth and almost gouache-like. I think it's super cool. So I really like those. And then I also really like the other Prang watercolors that I have, which are a considerably newer set. But this is my 16-pan set, which has a whole like brand new brush in there that I didn't even realize. Oh, it has like a, why did I not realize that? A like swatch thingy. Okay, this is not cooperating. Really? Really? Okay, well, we're just gonna stick you back in there and, I don't know, figure you out later. Okay, I'm not gonna deal with that right now. But that's my 16-pan set, and this is what it looks like swatched on this paper. I don't mind the fact that it's swatched over a drawing, but I think it actually looks really nice on this paper. It looks really smooth. The colors are still pretty vibrant considering the fact that this paper is garbage quality. Yeah, I think it's really nice. It did fade a little bit. It definitely did, because the black was definitely blacker, I feel like. It was definitely darker. I could be wrong. I could just be imagining things, but I feel like it was a little bit darker when I first swatched it. But I love the look of it. So I'm really excited to paint with these. Let's see. Next, these swatches are from this palette, and I don't even know where I got this. No idea. It's just a really cheap tin of like super chalky watercolors. Color variation isn't that great. Vibrancy isn't super great. But I have it. I'm sure I'll use it just to use it, but, or maybe I'll like let my son use them or something. But those are that. I'm also not super big fan of like this packaging. If it's going to be in a tin, I'd rather it have a hinge, but that's just personal preference, I guess. Let's look for the next one. Okay, so this set on this page and the top here is my Kiritaki set, which is in this green thing right here, and this is what the set looks like. I'm not super impressed with the metallics, but to be fair, I didn't really let them like reconstitute for long at all. So not super surprising, but whatever color this is, I really, really like. And also this like light kind of powdery blue, this right here. Okay, so this color must be this one. I really like that color a lot. And this orange is like amazing. I also really like, okay, I really like these. There's a set of these paints that I have on my Christmas list, and the color story is so pretty, and I really hope I get it. Not that I need more paints, but I really hope I get it. But I do really like how these look on this paper. I feel like if something can look good on this paper, then it's, you know, then it's good, because no. All right, let's see what's next. Okay, the Koi Watercolor Pocket Field Sketchbook is this right here. It's palette of metallics and neons. And I really like this. So it comes with this thing that like goes over it, and then you can like do that and it becomes a palette that's attached. And then it comes with a water brush that you can just like, no, this way, you can just screw on. And it has a little stopper so you can store water in it, which I'm sure is pretty standard, but whatever. You screw it back on, and then you've got your little paintbrush, and then it has sponges on the side for you to wipe your paintbrush on, so you don't have to like wipe it on your sleeve or on a paper towel. Amazing. Amazing. I really like this. I'm super impressed with the neons, especially. The metallics are okay. Like, I mean, there's nothing, and I don't even know if I would call them metallics. They're just like glitter. I think they call them metallics though on the packaging. But in my opinion, they're definitely not metallics. They are glitter, which I'm not mad about. And they're really pretty. They're not super punchy, but I definitely think they would add a really nice effect to an actual piece. These neons are really neoning. I really, really like these, especially like this pink right here and the yellow are just so, like on camera, they look like they're glowing. Like on my viewfinder, they look like they're glowing. It's crazy. So I've got those, and let's keep going so I can try and find the next ones. Okay, so this right here is this Van Gogh set, and this is probably my favorite palette that I have. Also, the brush is like so stinking cute and tiny, like it just hides in there. And then you can do that. And then this right here, did that get bent? What happened to that? You can use this to pop the pans out. So smart. The only thing I don't like about this is honestly, you could just use your fingers because there's nothing that like clicks them in. They are very, very loose in there. You can just pop them out with your fingers if you have any sort of nail at all, without any difficulty. But this is, you know, pretty sure meant to solve that issue, which is not actually an issue. But I love the performance of these. I love the quality of these. I love the color story. Like, it's just, it's beautiful. And this buff there's something about this buff titanium. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I've never been a beige mom until now. But this buff titanium does something to me. Don't ask me what it is, because I don't know. But I really, really love it. Like a lot. Oh, this okay, this pops out right here. Forgot about that. I don't know why there's a sticker in there. Oh, whatever. So this palette pops out, and then you also have another, like a little mixing space here, whatever. There. This is my favorite. And I don't even know why. Like, you look at the color story and you're like, well, that's definitely not as exciting as like having all of the options of this Prang set or the Kuretake set. I don't know what it is. This azamethine, is that how you even say that? I don't even know how you say the name, and the color has a chokehold on me. Like, I love it so much. And I'm not even a brown girly. Like, but there's something about this combination of these like yellowies and orangies and greens and the buff titanium. I could go on and on about this, so I'm going to stop. The other two that I have to show you, I don't think I have swatches of because they're not like their own palettes. They're just ones that I kind of made randomly, and I don't actually remember what brands they are. This is probably useless. I don't know. I haven't tried it, but this has been sitting here for like literal years. I made this literal years ago. I made this when I lived in Nebraska. I haven't lived in Nebraska in almost 6 years. And I did not make this at the end of my stay there. And I was there for 6 years. So I have no idea how old this is. Probably roughly 8 years old. They've been sitting in here, sitting like this, and I have not tried to use them. So I feel like this is one of those things that I should definitely make a point to try to use, at least to see if it's not like complete garbage, so that I don't just have it sitting around for nothing. You know what I mean? But yeah, I have no idea what brand this is. It's probably Reeves. If I'm being honest, this is probably Reeves. I'm pretty sure I mixed these with honey though, or glycerin. It might have been glycerin. I'm pretty sure I mixed these with glycerin. Didn't make a lick of difference, but I have it. And then the last one for this drawer is this Masters Touch Fine Art Studio palette. And I actually really like this palette. The thing is, inside of it, I have some dried gouache. And so this has a like tray that pops out to use as a palette. This also comes out, so you could use all of this space as a palette if you wanted to. That goes right back in there. I don't remember how long ago I made this. I don't think it's quite as old as this one, but it could be just as old because I quite frankly do not remember. I have reconstituted these at some point. Also, if you can hear my stomach, I'm sorry. I don't know why it's doing that. I literally sat here for like 45 minutes waiting for it to shut up so I could start filming, and it just wouldn't. So I said, whatever. Hearing a little bit of stomach gurgling isn't going to kill anyone. A lot of these are like falling out. They have like chunks coming out of them. I think that these are, I'm pretty sure, because based off of this like rose color, I'm pretty sure these are the Arteza gouache. So these are another thing that I need to try to see how well they reconstitute, to see whether or not it's worth keeping them in this palette or if I should just trash it and not try to make a palette out of them again. But I do really love, like, this palette is really nice. So I'm hoping that these are not garbage because it would be nice to be able to use them. The only problem is I have these in here, and I also now have that small tin that I'm pretty sure are also the Arteza gouache. So that's a little redundant. I could use the little tin as like a travel palette, which is that's the whole reason I made it in the first place, and I didn't actually end up having time to use it when I traveled. But I could use this one when I'm home if these work still, and use the other one if I travel or if I like, I don't know, want to go paint plein air or something. So I'm gonna be testing these. I need to. I probably should put them off to the side so I don't forget. But those are everything. Those are everything. That's everything that's in the second drawer. So we'll move on to the third drawer now. Actually, technically there's other stuff in that drawer. It's just not any kind of material. There's like palettes in there, like empty palettes and like flat palettes with like wells and stuff in them, like eyedroppers, like just stuff that is not really relevant, directly relevant. So moving on to drawer 3. Okay, so in this drawer I have mostly my like tube paints. I have my bottle of gesso, and I also have all my like glitter paints and stuff like that, but I'm not going to show that in this video because I only use that for art journaling. And while I will be sharing some of the stuff that I'm going to be using for art journaling, that's not really my primary concern with trying to get back into painting, because I have been doing I have been working on my art journal. So that's not really my concern. So I'm not going to be sharing those. Let's see. I need to find... Okay. So these are swatches of my Royal and Langnickel watercolors, and I have those in here. Honestly, there's not too many of them. Where the heck are they? Oh no, these are they? I feel like I have these in here for a specific reason, but I don't know why. Also, I don't know what happened to all of them. Definitely thought I had more than this. Maybe not. Okay, anyway, that's them. That's the swatch of them. And then these are my Reeves watercolor tubes, and that is over here. I have them all in here. It's just like one of those super cheap sets from Michael's. Oh, I have Royal and Langnickel in here. Why? Why did I do this though? I don't know. I'm sure I did it for a reason, so I'm just going to keep them there. But yeah, this is what they look like. There's nothing like super special about these. Although I do really like the smoothness of this flesh tint and the lemon yellow. But that's what they look like. And then these are the Reeves gouache swatches. And those are all in here. I really like the dark green. That's a nice color. Okay, so those are those ones. These are the Reeves watercolor in the white tubes. So these ones right here. And do these even, like, do these look different than the other ones? So these, there's definitely, there's more colors in this one, but is the quality any different? I think it's pretty much the same. I don't know why they had two different versions. The colors are identical. The quality is identical. This one does, so all of the colors in this set are in this one, but then this one also comes with a Chinese white. This one did not. And then this one has colors that this one doesn't have. So I don't know. I don't know why I got both, but I did. I probably thought they were different at whatever point I got them. So more Reeves watercolors. These Artist Loft watercolors. Ooh, where are you? Ooh. You guys are a sad, sad bunch. You see how faded these are? Like, the difference is crazy. Let me try and find that page. Okay. Artist Loft, Reeves. Artist Loft, Reeves. Like, these are so much more saturated, and these were when I painted them. They have faded so terribly, so bad, and they have not been out in the sun or anything. It's so crazy how badly they've faded. And it makes me wonder, like, how long will it be till they fade to absolutely nothing? Is that going to happen? I don't know. And it's not the paper, obviously, because if it were the paper, they'd all be doing this. So, I mean, it could be a mixture of the paint and the paper. But this is the only thing that I swatched in this sketchbook that did this. The Prang colors, I feel like faded like the teensiest amount, like almost not like detectable. This is bad. This is really bad. So that's interesting. But it makes me really happy that I did the swatches, A, because then I can go back and like pick what I want based on the swatches, but then also now I know what's gonna work and what's not. And if I don't care if something fades because I'm just painting for the practice or for whatever, then maybe I'll use those, but now I know. These are the Artist Loft gouache paints, and I gotta take a sip of water. The gouache held up considerably better than the Artist Loft watercolors. Like, this held up really well. These colors are really saturated. These actually might be like the most saturated gouache paints that I have. Like, those are the Reeves gouache and they look fine, but like that crimson red is really nice. These blues are super vibrant. Like, these are doing really great on this paper, which is crazy. Like, it's crazy. So those are here in this container. And I think other than the Arteza gouache, which, oh no. Okay, I just realized my wet gouache palette that I have to throw away now because it's moldy was all my Arteza gouache. This is all I have left. It's these sad little tubes and the dried ones that I have. I'm very sad. Very sad. I'm really frustrated because I prefer using gouache fresh from the tube, or like I prefer using it when it's wet. Obviously you have to use it when it's wet, like, but I mean not from dry, like as if it were straight from the tube, you know what I mean? Like nice and creamy. But I hate the process of like having to squeeze out the colors that I want and having to worry about how much I'm squeezing out and all of that. I hate that process. I'm much less likely to use the product if I have to do that every time I use it, which is why I made the wet palette. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll see if they work with the dry versions, but I don't know. Like I said before, if you have any suggestions on how to prevent that in the future, I am all ears, because now that's a bunch of gouache wasted and I'm very sad. Anyway, that's it for the third drawer. I will be moving on to drawer number 4 now. Okay, drawer number 4 is actually pretty empty. It's mostly empty, which I guess I didn't realize, but I do have a few things in there. So first I have the Karen Deco Brush metallic markers, and I have the swatches for that in here somewhere. Right here. So unfortunately some of them are drying out, and honestly that could be, again, partially because of the paper quality, but these are another product that I want to make sure I use because I don't want them to dry up before I use them. They like really need to be shaken up though. Because that is just not, like, that's, okay, that's basically like all dried up. That's really frustrating. You can see in there, like, can you see in there? It's basically like solidified. I honestly, like, the marker's still working. It's still juicy. I just feel like maybe that's, and I can still hear liquid in there, so maybe it's fine. Maybe it's just not, maybe it's not as crazy as I think, but I don't want these to go bad. And I feel like if I don't like keep them out and make myself use them, I will forget about them. So I think this is another one of those things that I'm just gonna keep out. Try and remind myself to use them. I honestly, I think I may end up using these more in like coloring. So yeah, I think I'll probably maybe keep those out, try to put them with my coloring stuff. I have 2 of these Genuine Crafts watercolor pens, the real brush tips, and these are very similar to the Arteza ones. I don't have these on swatch, but they're like identical essentially. It does come with a water brush, which is cool. Here, actually, I'm gonna do something. I am going to, let me do it on a new page though. I'm going to swatch this and see. Okay. It's kind of dry, but honestly, it feels like that's the paper's problem because when I go slow, it's fine. I think it's just the paper really soaking things up. Here, this is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna, and, oh yeah, no, that's not doing anything on there. And that went straight through. Wow. Here, let me see if it makes a difference if the page is already wet. Let's try with a different color. I mean, that kind of makes it look more watercolory, but like, if it's too wet, it doesn't do anything. So you have to do it like on the edges, and then like, once you get away from the water, it does this same thing, and then yeah, you can't do anything once it's on the paper. So I think if I would want to actually use it as like a watercolor, I'd probably have to like color it on a palette and then pick it up with a brush, which I don't know, maybe that's what you're supposed to do, but it's not like it says. I'm pretty sure a brand, whatever this brand is, sent these to me for a potential review, but I decided not to do it because I just didn't really have anything great to say about them. They're pretty much identical to the Arteza brush markers, and I'm not a fan of them really. So I'll get use out of them in some way. I probably honestly just won't use them with water. So I don't know, maybe if I find a different paper. It could also be the paper that's messing it up. I don't know, we'll see. And then the last thing I have in that drawer, besides a couple of inks that I'm not going to be showing, I have more Craft Smart paint pens, and these are actually oil paint pens. And I'm pretty sure the other ones I have are acrylic paint pens. And these ones come with like the small and the large size. I'm not really sure why I got the oil specifically. I'm pretty certain I got them like on purpose, that I specifically went in for the oil ones, but I just don't know why. I don't remember. Maybe I was planning on painting on something other than paper. That's possible, but they've been sitting there for a long time, so I don't remember what I bought them for. So I will use them for whatever eventually. So on to drawer number 5 now, and I just do 5 and 6 at the same time because I don't think there's much in either. Okay, there really wasn't much in either of those. I need to reorganize so that I can actually make better use of that space, because I have a lot of space in those drawers that I didn't realize I had. So these right here are what's in here, and they are handmade glitter watercolors. They're from Dreamland Watercolor. I'm pretty sure they're on Etsy. This one is the Witchcraft collection. And so got those in there. And then this is the part 2 of the Majora Arcana set, and I love these. And then it came with some samples, and I just stuck them in there because they're still perfectly usable. So, oh, they're beautiful. And I think I also made the mistake with these where I didn't let them saturate long enough. So I feel like some of these are a little maybe not as pigmented as they could be, but I also don't think they're meant to be like standalone watercolors, you know what I mean? They're meant to like supplement and go over and stuff, I'm pretty sure. But oh, they're beautiful. Oh my gosh. This one right here, these two, just they do something to me. There is this one right here. I think this is the only, not the only one, but the only one that has like a really prominent base color is this one right here, where the base, it clearly has like a regular watercolor base of blue, and then it has like a pinky purple and blue duochrome on top. And I think that is, which one is that? This one? I think that's this one right here. Pretty sure. Can't be certain. They really don't look the same in the pan as they do swatched. Do they have names on the bottom? I think they do. I should have written the names on them. I didn't even think about that, and it's too late now. I'd have to re-swatch them to know which ones are which, but I do just like having their sparkle in here. So beautiful. Okay, And then I have a duplicate of the Koi Watercolors Pocket Field sketchbook. I don't know why I have two. I think my husband probably just got me one and then forgot he got it for me and got me another one, but I have a duplicate there if I ever need it. And then I have the Liquitex Basics matte fluid medium. And this was what I was talking about putting in the acrylics for my custom acrylic palette. I'm not sure if I'm going to like pour some of this into the actual acrylics themselves or just add it in as I'm mixing my colors when I paint. I'm gonna try it with just mixing as I paint first before I dump it in there and it's too late, and see how it goes and then decide. But there are a couple colors that I have in that palette where they're in like the smaller tubs and they're filled as far as they will go, so I can't mix in any medium. So that may be a non-plan, that I may not be able to do that because I don't know that I'd want to do it to most of the colors, but not all of them. I don't know. I will have to think on that, see how I feel about it. But yeah, so that's everything that's in the drawers. This video is by far gonna be the longest of all of them, but I just want to make sure that I go through everything I have so that I know what I have. Anyway, I'm gonna go through the stuff that's on the cart now, and then we'll be done after that. So I'm actually, I think I'm gonna bring you to the cart. I think that'll just be easier and quicker. So see you in a sec. We are here on the floor with my cart, and so I'm gonna go through not everything, but if I feel like it's something that I might use in my sketchbooks, then I will. So first I have these markers. These are the ones that I used as the like backgrounds that I plan on painting on. Nothing crazy. These are the super cheap crayons that I used. I mean, I may keep using them just because I have them, but I mean, they're something. They're not something great, but they're something. I have some King Art dual brush pens, and I haven't used them yet, so I don't know the quality of them, but I could see myself using those in my sketchbooks. So there's that. Let me turn this around real quick, see what else I have back here. Just some colored pencils and a box of the Crayola Colors of the World skin tone markers. And then on the second tier, again, I have a lot of colored pencils, and some of those might be used in my sketchbook, but probably not a lot, honestly. Let's see, I have glitter markers there, which are probably not going to be used. Let's see, I do have chameleon markers, and I will probably use these. Sorry, I keep like not paying attention to where the camera is. I will probably use these in a sketchbook, but not until I start on a sketchbook with better paper, because I really just think that this sketchbook that I'm working on right now is just gonna eat these markers up, and it's gonna wear them out way faster than it should. So I'm not gonna do that. I also have the Faber-Castell Albrecht Dürer watercolor markers. I don't know if that's how you say that, but I absolutely love these. So good. And they are really fun to use, and I want to use those in my sketchbook. These are some Faber-Castell color pencils, and then these back here are chameleon colored pencils. And again, I don't know that I'm going to use colored pencils in my sketchbooks, and if I do, I don't know, it probably won't be much. So there's that. Okay, the last thing I have on here are my Prismacolor markers, and okay, so this is what they look like. I believe these are the brush marker ones, and then I have, like, it came with 2 cases for all the colors, and I think I may use my Prismacolor markers in my sketchbooks and then save my, like, cheaper alcohol markers for coloring, but I don't know, we'll have to see. Okay, so that is everything. Well, nope, not everything. I forgot this. I have it on my desk. Okay, I have these paints. These are the golden high flow acrylics, and I use these mostly for card altars that I do, like Pokemon and Magic card altars, but I would like to start using them in my sketchbook as well, because honestly, like, I have so many of them, and I have doubles of some of them in my drawer. So maybe I'll take the doubles out and set those out to use for my sketchbook or something. But yeah, when I use these for card altars, I don't use much. Like, a little bit goes a long way with these. So I think I should start using these in my sketchbooks too, because I do really like them. They're really nice. So that is the last thing I have. So that's everything. Why does it keep doing that? Stop it. Those are all of the supplies that I have to work with, and I've already filmed the, like, surfaces video with all of my sketchbooks and paper pads and all that, all the stuff that I can paint on. I already filmed that. I actually filmed that first, and I don't really know why, but that's going up as the second video. And so now I'm going to sit down and I'm going to plan out my painting goals for 2025. And then once I figure that out, I will do a video on all of that. And that's going to include all of the surfaces that I want to use paint on or, like, use up in the year, all of the supplies that I want to focus on, what my goals are as far as that, all of that stuff. So that'll be in video number 3, but this is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned for part 2. I don't know how far apart I'm uploading these, but if they're not back to back, there will be other videos in between. So yeah, there's that. But stay tuned for part 2. It will come eventually. Yeah, so I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.